Chapter 2. To Acquire Knowledge. The Who. What is learning? Etymology. Old English, leron. To teach. Old English, leronian. To acquire knowledge. The words learn and teach once held a very similar meaning. From the 1100s to the early 1900s, it was proper grammar to say, the teacher learnt the students their science lesson. Definition. Learn. To acquire knowledge of a subject or skill in an art, etc., as a result of study, experience, or teaching. Because learning means to acquire knowledge, it makes sense to define knowledge as well. Knowledge, the body of facts, opinions, experiences, etc., accumulated by mankind. My thoughts. The most effective learning occurs unintentionally when an individual has a meaningful life experience and stores it as a memory. Another form of learning occurs with intention through education. This occurs when an individual fulfills his/her curiosity on any subject and stores the meaningful information in his/her memory. There are two ways to learn. 1. Meaningful experience, often by accident. Life is the teacher. 2. Fulfilling curiosity, usually with purpose. Human is the teacher. 1. Meaningful experience. Imagine yourself driving on familiar roads near your home. You are 16 years old and have had your driver's license for 2 months. You are a few minutes late for work, and only 2 days ago, your boss stressed the importance of being punctual. Yesterday, your town experienced a dreary day with record rainfall, but today it's beautiful out and you're playing your favorite song at an ideal volume. You decide you don't want to be late and press your foot against the accelerator until the speedometer reaches 70 miles per hour. Your only concern is a police officer passing you, but you've only seen 3 or 4 squad cars on this country road over the course of your entire life. You let go of your worries and bounce your head to the rhythm of the song wearing an optimistic smile. You notice a car heading in your direction in the far distance. You slow down to 50 miles per hour quickly in case it is a police car, but as it gets closer, you realize it is a white SUV. You speed back up to your previous pace, and the approaching vehicle is a football field away. All of a sudden, you notice you are coming upon a dark spot on the edge of your side of the road. It becomes larger and larger until you realize it's a massive area of standing water. Your body tenses up while you grasp the wheel firmly with both hands. The SUV on the other side of the double yellow paint is now only 50 feet from the nose of your car. You manage to slow down to 40 miles per hour, but you can't avoid the standing water. The water pulls your car to the right with a powerful force. As water splashes down on the right side of your car, you jerk the wheel to the left to avoid hitting the row of trees running alongside the pavement. You overcompensate just as the white SUV is alongside your car and you hit the rear end of the vehicle. The noise the collision produces is a loud thud of smashed broken plastic, and your mind becomes numb as your vehicle twists and flips until coming to a painful rest pretzeled against the fence row full of trees. You immediately turn off the distracting music and notice the adrenaline fizzing from your toes up and through your body until finally reaching the top of your head. When the adrenaline reaches your higher extremity, your brain spends 8 seconds somewhere over the rainbow and you snap back to reality. You realize that your cozy dreams have never been so far away. Your body is aching, but you gather that you are not dead and haven't suffered any serious injuries. You are too thankful and shaken up to begin excessive amounts of cursing. You look for the SUV while silently praying that no one else is hurt. The SUV is sitting upright, also pressed against the fence row, facing the opposite direction it was traveling. The vehicle's front end is smashed in with significant damage to the passenger side. The windshield is cracked, the passenger rearview mirror is hanging by a wire, and the bumper is 20 feet in front of the vehicle, along with numerous amounts of jigsaw-puzzled white plastic fragments. A middle-aged woman opens her dented door and steps out of the vehicle. She has a cut above her jawline and limps toward you with caution. But she appears to be fine. You get out of your car and walk towards her, exclaiming your apologies and begging her forgiveness. She tells you it's all right and asks if you're okay. You experience stress, fear, disgust, relief, anger, embarrassment, joy, and sadness all at once and begin to feel yourself holding back the tears of each and every emotion. In this story, we were not at school. Our parents weren't lecturing us, and we were not reading a book, and we had no desire to learn. Did we learn anything? If this experience happened in reality, we may have learned the following. The importance of being on time for work. If running behind schedule in any situation, it is best to follow the speed limit for safety and suffer the consequences of being late. When it rains for an extended period of time, standing water can accumulate and sit for days. Use extreme caution while driving with this threat. The power of learning through personal experience cannot be stressed enough. It is the most effective way to learn because all of our senses are present in the event. We touch, see, hear, smell, and taste the experience, which makes it meaningful and relative to our lives. This is very different from sitting through an algebra lesson while continually asking, what does this stuff have to do with my life? When we have a meaningful personal experience, that experience becomes our life. But having an accidental and meaningful experience is not the only way to learn. There is also a purposeful way in which we learn, and we achieve this learning by fulfilling our curiosity. This purposeful way is education and will be our main focus. 2. Fulfilling curiosity. Curiosity is one of the most sacred desires we possess. The young boy named Lavivrus was curious about fire, and that desire to learn allowed him to thrive throughout his existence. When he was 13 years old, he decided to go foraging for food with 2 of his friends in the forest near his village. They became lost in the disorientating maze of trees and were forced to endure a cold winter night. The 2 boys Lavivrus foraged with were also taught how to make fire by their parents at a young age. But they were both uninterested at the time and had forgotten how to create the precious light. Because Lavivrus was curious about fire, he watched Tinkler with his full attention as a young boy. He gained that knowledge as his own and remembered how to make fire. If Lavivrus hadn't been curious, he wouldn't have retained the information, and the 3 young boys wouldn't have survived the frozen night air. Curiosity allows us to retain the information that is being offered to us. If we are not curious about a subject, we will not truly learn the material. Even more important, following our curiosity allows us to discover our passion, which is the ultimate goal of education. Example: the fact that a teenage girl is curious about how to make chocolate chip cookies one day doesn't necessarily mean that she is destined to become a pastry chef. But she goes online to inquire about chocolate chip cookies and discovers that all chocolate comes from a bean called Theobroma cacao. This interests her, and she begins researching this mysterious bean to find out that it originated, like so many of Earth's plants, in the Amazon rainforest. Her curiosity continues to run, now in the direction of the Amazon rainforest, and she investigates further. 2 hours have gone by at the computer, and she is now reading an article about the millions of acres of majestic Amazon being cut down to provide our society with raw materials to produce finished products. She develops strong emotional ties with this fact. 20 years later, she sits as the president of the Environmental Protection Agency, thinking about that fateful day when all she wanted to do was learn how to bake chocolate chip cookies. Our passions in life are rarely discovered in a few hours of searching the internet, but they can unfold in a similar way over time. And it's all due to following our individual, unique, and sacred curiosity. As it pertains to learning, curiosity means the desire to learn. And if we have no desire, then we will not learn. To understand education, we must first accept that curiosity for the subject is an absolute mandatory prerequisite for true learning. And if students follow their curiosity with vigor, it will eventually transform into love and lead them to their passions in life.